Hi everyone, just thought I'd do a little video here about some software that I found on the internet. Not sure how I happened across it, I just came across it, I guess because I get a few engineering things come across my feeds and on various social media. What I found is something called Onshape. It's a completely cloud-based piece of CAD software. It runs on the Parasolid solid modeling kernel, so that's the one out of Siemens that's used in a lot of software like NX or Union Graphics or whatever that's called this week, as well as SolidWorks, which is probably one of the most popular pieces of CAD software out there today. The company itself was actually started by a number of former SolidWorks executives, and they've decided to take on a new challenge and move on to creating this piece of cloud-based CAD software. So I thought I'd do a little run-through video of what I found so far. I've only worked through a couple of tutorials just to understand how it works. It's still quite primitive compared to something like SolidWorks or NX, but they're working on new features every day, and given that it's based on Parasolid, I assume that there's a long way to go. So let's have a little look, and I'll show you what I found so far. Okay, so you'll see here, this is the interface that you get when you get an account for Onshape. So I've actually got a free subscription at the moment. It costs, if you want a full subscription, it's about $100 a month at the moment. Seems pretty pricey, but if you compare that to what a SolidWorks license costs, or what a license costs for just about any other decent high-level solid modeling CAD software, it's quite cheap. It'll be interesting to see how that price goes up as they start to add more features, because it is still quite primitive at the moment. When you first come in to the interface here, it'll come up with a recently opened files or parts workspace. So you can see here I've opened a few things up, like the tutorials and things that they give you to start with. Let's just open one of these up now. It is cloud-based, so it will take a few minutes or a few seconds or whatever, depending on the size of what you're loading, to load up. Here we have the Wheel of Doom that we're waiting for. I tried loading this file before. It's not a big file from what I can tell, but it's got some detail in it that maybe that's making it a big file. So maybe we'll play some wait music while we wait here. Anyway, waiting. Alright, so here you've got this is the part file itself. You can move it around. We'll talk about how this works in a minute. I haven't actually clicked on these other tabs to find out what they are, but every time you click on one, it seems to take a minute for it to load. So I guess this is, I think this is a 3D printed image of one that this person's made on their 3D printer. I've got an XT file here, so a Parasolid file. So let's have a look at this one last tab here. It says it's transferring data from Onshape. This might be the speed of my internet connection too. Don't have the greatest internet connection here. Bring on an NBN. Lol. We can talk about that later, and how NBN proper would really help this kind of thing, but let's not get into a discussion about what the Australian government's doing right now. So what do we got? We've got a block here, drawing block. Don't know if this is a standard drawing block. Seems to be loading some more data here, maybe some views. It's taking a while. Probably time this. This video is already up to 3.5 minutes, so alright, so here we go. It took a while to load that. That's probably not ideal, but a couple of views of the wing nut. I don't know if this person's finished their drawing. There's no dimensioning on it or anything like that. If we come back to the part studio, load it quicker because I guess it's already in memory somewhere. So like all good CAD software here, you've got a tree here. It shows you how this has been made. This all seems to be surface data, oh no. There is some surface data in there. You can roll up and, oh, no, that didn't work. That's the one we want. To come back to a point where it was something that wasn't quite finished. You can see there. So it's completely parametric. So there you go. That's just one little part there that I've opened up, somebody else's part that's in the public domain. It's pretty cool. But like I said before, this is the interface that you come to initially when you come into Onshape. You've got a number of options here with items that are created by you, the things that are shared with you, things that are in the public parts list, I guess, and then tutorials and samples, which I've played with a little bit. So I'll just open up this one here. This may again take a little while. This is the tutorial part that I actually, well, it's going to bring me into the tutorial first, but this is the tutorial part here that they have you create as part of it, and then I've taken it one step further and done some fillets and all kinds of things like that to it. So the navigation in this software is pretty simple. Right click, in terms of navigating in the part window, it's pretty simple. You right click to rotate, and I can't remember how you do this in SolidWorks. I'm a UG guy or an NX guy. I've got a little bit of SolidWorks knowledge, but not a lot. I have been trained in it. If you want to pan, you hold down Control and right click, move it around, and then if you want to zoom, you just use the scroll wheel to zoom in and out. Zooms in on wherever your mouse cursor is, so if you want to zoom out and then zoom in on a particular piece of detail, it's pretty simple. Like I showed you before, you can roll back your tree there with your features in it, and then come back through and bring those features back in, just like most other good parametric modelling software. It is very much sketch based, which I know some people have an issue with using sketches for basically everything, but it's just the way things are. Hopefully they'll start to add more features that don't require sketches, or more freeform type features, but SolidWorks itself was basically entirely sketch based. I was never entirely comfortable with that, being an NX guy, but that's just the way CAD is these days. Up in the corner here, very simple way of switching around to views. The one thing I did notice is that if you click on this, it swings it all around, way around to the other side. You've actually got to use these arrows to move around the views. Moving like that, right click, zoom to fit, get everything in, right click, get yourself an isometric view. Yeah, pretty cool. You can rotate the view using these arrows up here, rotate it, select your right view, left view, come back around. Very simple. There's a bunch of other views here. I'm kind of learning this as I go, by the way. There's a diametric view. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of features here. Turn on your shaded without edges or shaded with hidden edges. All that usual type of stuff that you get with your view, your types of views that you can have in just about any other CAD software. So far I've only really loaded simple parts. You can see there if you're running hidden edge, what do they call that view in this software? Hidden edge is visible. You can see how it refreshes. It's translucent. Seems to work quite well for small parts. It'll be interesting to see what happens once you get a bigger part in there. So that's just the basics of this software and navigating around. Might have a little bit more of a play with it and see what else it can do.